Hi Guy, welcome back to the channel. My god, it must be a good 12 months since I've actually done any content. You're probably wondering why for my long time subscribers. Well, basically the long and short of it is, after I finished Amiga Armor, I've been working on that for 2 years solid, and I've no complaints about it. I had an amazing time, but as I got into it after a while, it was week after week after week. I was constantly having to do piles and piles of research and recording and editing and gameplay footage and all the rest of it, and it was amazing to build up like a following, because I think by the end I'd had about 40, maybe 50,000 downloads on the podcast figures alone. I never really got anywhere with it on YouTube, but as an actual podcast for people to listen, but then, as with all these things, real life got in the way, all sorts of problems, that sort of work. I probably just have taken a break and maybe stopped the show for a month or two, because it was coming closer and closer to Christmas. It would have been the ideal time, but I just felt that, after all that time, I'd focused so much on the Amiga, I put so much hard work into it, and 100 episodes, I think that's what, I got up to 104, 105 by the end. It felt like a really good place to finish, go out on a high, don't just keep pumping stuff out and just hoping that hopefully someone's still listening. Again, thank you to everyone who joined me on that journey and all the way. But anyway, that aside, that's just a bit of an explanation where I've been. I have missed putting out regular content and videos and stuff. It's been an absolutely crazy year. Most of the COVID time, I had an absolutely amazing time, to be honest. I caught up on so much stuff, I read so many books, I watched so many films and TV shows, thank God for the internet. I don't know what I would have done without my fibre connection whilst I was off. But I managed to go back to some classic retro games. I completed all like the King's Quest series, Quest for Glory, loads and loads of Sierra games and Lucasfilms games, and I'm a real big fan of the graphic adventures, so I had an amazing time going back through that. I still have a lot of ideas for shows, and one of the main reasons I'm posting this episode today is that just to say that I'm going to come back, I'm going to really sink some effort in. I've already got like 3 or 4 episodes on the go at the moment. I've just finished all the recording side. I need to start the gameplay footage. What I'm going to do this time though is I don't want to get in a situation where I'm having to focus week on, week off, one episode at a time. So I want to give myself a few episodes done, kick them off maybe on a weekly, maybe a fortnightly basis, I'm not sure yet, and then see how that goes for a bit. And then if I've got a few in the bag, so to speak, and they're all ready and prepped to go, I can work at my own pace then and get stuff going. Anyway, just look forward to that. Now, one of the main things I wanted to talk about today is just, again, it's crazy times, but I've just pre-ordered a PS4 back at the launch. I can't remember what date that was. It's the umpteenth console I've ever ordered. Thinking back, I think the first console I ever pre-ordered must have been the Sega Dreamcast. That would have been 99, 2000. It was around about that time. Yeah, I remember going into the next town over for crack of dawn. It was about 5 or 6 a.m. and there was a massive queue of people. I couldn't believe it at the time, and I think I picked up the maximum pack that game were doing, and it came with like John Madden, Echo the Dolphin, Sonic Adventure. Oh, that was an amazing game at the time. But it really introduced me to how crazy back then. I'm not sure what they're like now, because these days you just pre-order this stuff on the internet, but 20 odd years ago you go up to these shops and there'd be queues and queues of people, and the shops will put on people in costumes and entertain you and stuff, and be walking around. You could be there for a couple of hours waiting, and I remember doing that, picking it up and then going home after. Great time with that system. But yeah, coming around to this one, the PS4 this time round, I had to really think this time, PS5. With the PS4 and the Xbox One, I've sort of got a bit bored with them of late, and I think I got rid of them about a year ago. I had a PS4 last which had Spider-Man 4 on, and I played that for a bit. I really didn't get on with it, it just wasn't for me. I don't know why, I only played it for about 30-40 minutes, and I toss it away, move on to the next game. I've got piles of games sat to one side, a lot of which I never bothered playing. And now coming onto this with the PS5, I was looking at this one and the Xbox. Now I really like the look of the Xbox, and as we've been getting further and further on, I've been sort of half regretting my decision, because I've only decided this time I'm not going to buy both. I'm going to pick the Xbox One up later. I'm going to wait a few more games have come out for that, but the PS4 is, sorry, PS5, I keep saying 4, is really where I want to go, because I want games like God of War. I really want to give Spider-Man 4 another try. Near loads and loads of titles like that. You know, the PS5 with all that backwards compatibility is definitely the way to go. As I'm recording this, Sony have pretty much just done the teardown video, which was a very strange thing. As a company, Sony have been very bizarre with this. They're not giving out any proper details. Like Xbox been doing all this incredible stuff, like running systems, like giving them out to reporters and letting people actually play them on the backwards compatible stuff. I think they're waiting for the full games until, like, is it NDAs and all these agreements pass. That'll be closer to the launch. But the thing is, at the moment, you can go out there, different places on the net, see all this footage, and it's really making me second guess me choice, because Sony's just doing next to nothing, and I'm constantly like desperate to find out more information on it, and they're just not releasing anything. It's very strange, especially with the position they were in at the last system launch. I think the PS4 is one of the best selling systems they've ever done. Now, they're very weird as a company, Sony. You know, at the beginning of the PS4, the guys, when they were in charge, and they were doing that thing and they were mocking Microsoft, you know, with the second-hand game, because they were talking about doing digital-only consoles, and you got all these things with a director handing over the second-hand game, saying, you know, if you want to play a game, you know, this is how you do it, and just handing it from, sorry, you want to play someone else's game, just share it between yourselves. And it was a big joke and a meme, and this time round it's all completely switched, and Microsoft is coming up with all the jokes and digging and laughing and stuff, and Sony's just saying nothing. They must be like under new management, because the management's just gone silent. They're not doing any proper marketing or pushing. It's getting to a point where I'm starting to think that, are they going to delay this launch? I mean, are we actually going to see it when they promised? I think it's November the 19th. Like I said, I've pre-ordered mine. I ended up going to Amazon at the end of the day. When they just announced that with like a day's notice, so I was like, what the hell do? You just go and grab one straight away. Luckily I got one within like a couple of minutes, and even then when I was looking at it, you know, it's like it's £450, and I was looking at all the different games, and 9 times out of 10 launch games they're absolutely awful. So I decided to go for the ultimate Miles Morales. Is it Miles Morales or is it Miles Morales? I don't know. I'm not really big up on the Spider-Man stuff, but the reason I went for that is because it's got that remastered Spider-Man 4 in, so I was really eager to jump on that just to see how it would come over. But I have ordered a few other PS4 games to play just to tide me over until some more interesting games come across. The biggest one, of course, is Final Fantasy VII. Now, I was half tempted to get another PS4 at the beginning of this year just to play that. I mean, going back years and years, I was a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, especially on the PS1. I mean, it introduced me to the console at the time. I'd never really been interested. I was still stuck on the whole Sega and Nintendo thing. You know, I was only about 16 or 17 at the time. I'd only just started working, and I'd just began getting money in. That was a massive difference back then, to suddenly go from getting like pocket money off the parents one week and all of a sudden to be in full-time work and be able to pay out cash and buy things. But I still had this weird mindset from the early 90s where, you know, it was Sega versus Nintendo, and I had a Sega Saturn and I didn't really want to touch anything else. I mean, it sort of disappeared after a while. You know, once you've got some money and you can start pushing around and buying different things and trying new systems. And I never really got on with the Sega Saturn at the time. But Final Fantasy VII, I remember playing that, and it blew my mind at the time. I'd never seen anything like it. It was so interactive, and it really drew you in. It had an amazing story, and I'd never done a proper role-playing game like that. I mean, I think I'd maybe played the Baldur's Gate and a few things like that, but they weren't anything like these Japanese RPGs. And it really started this thing with me, and then I ended up buying the console and getting the game, and I think I clocked it. I think it must have been about 5 or 6 times, and I even maxed out every single character. I even found all the hidden characters and topped them out at like maximum level 999. I love that game to bits, and I would just take so much time like building up all the materials and learning all the systems and stuff. I don't know why, because the translation for the PS1 game was pretty poor going at the time. It was only I think it was like a year or two later when I picked up the PC port, and where they added like this is when I got me, I had a Voodoo 2 graphics card. God almighty, that is a long time. It must be 98, 99. Anyway, this amazing graphics card, and what were like these really awful looking figures on the PS1, suddenly they were all like 3D renders, and for the time they looked absolutely amazing, and then it put me down a path. I think I've recompleted the game about 3 times with different characters just to try it all out. It was a great port for the game at the time. It was a shame that they never bothered doing any more for years and years later. Anyway, that was a bit of a meandering point, but the thing is, I love that game, and I've been holding off getting it on the PS4, and then I saw all this backward compatibility stuff that basically says on the new one it makes it run faster, you know, fix 60 frames and fancier graphics and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm really pumped for this new gaming generation. Now, I'd like to hear your comments, guys. I know it's been a long time since I've posted in here, but feel free to drop them below the video and let me know what you've been up to, I suppose, gaming wise, which console you're gonna go with. Again, I'm just not tempted enough by the Xbox. I will pick one up later though. It's PS4 all the way for me. Fingers crossed that they start releasing more and more details, you know, something to sink your teeth into. I'm not really looking forward to many of the other launch games, possibly Demon's Souls, but I did play that on the PS3 years ago, and to be honest, I think I got a couple of hours in and I ended up walking down this corridor off the main tower, I think, and I got into a battle with this knight and just kept getting absolutely murdered time after time after time. I just gave up in the end. It was just pointless. Sometimes, you know, a game just doesn't catch you, and I know it's become this big beloved franchise, and now they've remade it for the PS4, but I keep saying PS4, the PS5, but whether or not that'll be any good is another question. So anyway, yeah, it's a great time, I think, to cut it off there. Please come back to the channel again, subscribe, comment and share the usual, because I am coming back with content, and I hope you guys can share it everywhere. As always, thanks for watching and look forward to another video soon.